I think it's pretty safe to say that there are a few games that have the same level of hype as the very game that we are talking about today. And that game is Grand Theft Auto. Now, Grand Theft Auto has been around for a really long time, and we know for a fact that even from the early days, right from like Grand Theft Auto 3 up until today, which is probably, we're talking about more than 20 years here, that this has been around, and it has been such an impact on the gaming industry, and also in a way the cinematic industry as well, and vice versa. It has inspired a lot of stories. A lot of stories were the inspiration for Grand Theft Auto, and ultimately we see that it has evolved immensely in a large way, specifically in its graphical capabilities and its storytelling capabilities. And that is definitely what Grand Theft Auto has always been about. It's always been about how the story is built so that you can actually feel something for the characters, and that is why it's always been considered one of the greatest games of all time. But today in specific, we are here to talk about none other than the game that most people have been waiting to be announced for the past maybe 5 years, and that is none other than Grand Theft Auto 6. Now, this trailer comes at a very interesting time because we've had Grand Theft Auto 5 now for over 10 years, which is bonkers. I mean, we have to stop and think about this. We are right now in the PS5 era, and Grand Theft Auto 5 released in the PS3 era. So let's just stop and think for a moment. Grand Theft Auto 5 originally came out for the PS3, which is literally an entire console generation away from the PS5, which is nuts. I mean, it is just bonkers to think that an entire generation of console went by without even having a glimpse at Grand Theft Auto 6, and they waited up until this point. And yes, you can make the assumption that, Grand Theft Auto 5 was a really good game that really served its place, and also the online aspect lasted a whole lot longer than most people would imagine that it would have lasted, but it lasted a really long time. And then we obviously had, in between this time, Red Dead Redemption 2, which I probably consider one of the greatest games I've ever played. Story-wise and gameplay-wise, it's absolutely beautiful, and if you've never played Red Dead Redemption 2, sit down and play that game because it's absolutely amazing. Rockstar really did, premium work on that game. But ultimately, we do have to take into consideration that an entire generation went by, and now we are getting an incredible game with immense level of detail. I mean, look at these shots. I mean, obviously, Vice City is inspired by Miami, but we are talking about parts of Miami that people, normally are like, wow, they really did their research. They knew exactly what to put and where to put it. And I love the little references that they make to Miami in this very trailer. Specifically things that happened in social media, on the news, and I mean, there's even people on social media comparing the scenes, which I think is really cool and actually shows how much Rockstar is dedicating this, this incredible conjunction of, creativity and storytelling, and being able to show and wear their inspirations on their sleeves is absolutely amazing. And we're also introduced in this very trailer to the very first female protagonist in a Grand Theft Auto game. Now, based on my understanding, she is the only character we're playing as, but it could be that her partner is also somebody that we can play as in the game. But so far, none of that has been revealed. All that we know about this game is in the trailer, and that's about it. I mean, we have not gotten any sort of like super in-depth gameplay reveals, and that's something that I expect to see possibly next year at something like the Game Awards, or if they decide to bring E3 back, that would be something that's really cool to see, you know, working on a PS5. And speaking of consoles, a lot of people have been saying that this game will not be going directly to PC and it's just going to go to the consoles first. Listen, I think it's really strange that Rockstar is taking this approach with most of their games. You know, they send it out to the consoles first and then PC gets it later on. I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, if you're releasing something for, you know, the Xbox, I mean, you're already like one step closer to PC because, you know, Microsoft, but apparently they're not really in that lane, I guess. So it is going to be really weird to see this game just come out for consoles and not for PC, which has been kind of like the norm now for Rockstar. And I'm interested to see where they take this story. Now, there have been breakdowns online of people saying that what we see in the trailer isn't exactly in the order that is being shown. Like, the beginning of the game isn't going to be technically her coming out of prison and then committing crimes. I think technically it's going to be reversed. You know, a lot of people have said that, you know, she's probably going to end up in prison after like a very extensive prologue and a few other chapters go by. We might see a time jump between specific periods in time. That would be very interesting to see as well. And being able to see a character that's so, you know, connective to the sort of South Florida thing, South Florida scene, you know, and a lot of people have complained that there's like, oh, there's not a lot of white people in this trailer. I mean, dude, take it for someone, me, this person right here, who lived in South Florida for a really long time. I know for a fact it's not entirely all white people, you know. It really isn't. Like, you know, hop on a plane or a train or a car or whatever, go down to South Florida and see if you're going to see the same amount of, you know, white people that you know, you guys may consider to be in, you know, South Florida. Trust me, these guys did their research. Rockstar did their research, and I'm telling you, what you see in the trailer is very close to reality when it comes to South Florida, even though we are aware that it is not Florida, it's Leonida. For some reason, that's the name of the state. It's the state of Leonida, and Vice City is in Leonida. So that's a really cool piece of advice that we got from Rockstar. But nonetheless, this is definitely one of those games that we know for a fact that will break records. And I say that it will be breaking records because if we stop to do the math, back when Grand Theft Auto 5 came out, we saw an incredible amount of people going out and buying this game in droves. And it was considered for a while one of the greatest best-selling games of all time. And if we stop to think about it, people who back then were, say, 8 years old, now they're 18, which means they're old enough to just walk into a GameStop and buy the game without any sort of parental, you know, supervision or whatever. So if it was already the best-selling game back in 2011, I believe, is when this game came out, imagine now with all this incredible amount of technology that we have, with people with enough PS5s now out on the market. I mean, we do have to consider that this game is going to break a lot of records when it comes to sales, when it comes to players, and I'm pretty sure that if Rockstar dedicated the amount of time and effort into telling a great story, people will definitely resonate with Lucia and every other character that we see pop up in Grand Theft Auto 6. But like I say in most of my videos, these are all things that I'm thinking about. These are my opinions. These are the things that run through my head when I sit here and talk to you guys. But I want to know specifically from you, what do you guys think? Do you think that this specific game is going to break the amount of records that we know or we think it is? I don't know. Put that down in the comments below. I want to have this discussion with you guys. And while you're down there, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell to be notified when new videos go live on this channel. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. And as you know, I'll see you in the next video.